Invite, okay. How many people can we get on?
A lot.
Okay. Just sent Sergio a request to join us.
What's up, guys?
What's up, bro? So, see if Sergio, can you see us? Okay, there you go. Solid. Okay, so now we're just waiting for Matt to join on.
Give me my phone. Other phone. What's up, Sergio?
What up?
What's up?
What's happening, fellas? George, what's cracking, brother?
How you doing? So we're waiting just on one. Oh, there he is. Okay. There's Matt. He should be joining on.
I can't see you, George.
No? Okay, I see
No.
you. All okay, there we go. We got all four of us. Okay, who can you see?
Bam.
Hey, we're figuring it out.
I see everybody.
I
Okay.
see all y'all.
I just don't see George.
No? Okay, I'm
No.
ugly. You don't want to see me anyways. Okay, so we had to switch it up. No biggie. Our first time doing a Instagram live, right? So same concept for all you guys that are new out there. We're the Delegate Duo. Me and my brother Matt Blake from Local 619 San Diego. I'm George Moreno from Local 59 Spokane, Washington. And today's show, a little podcast we have is not only the Union Brothers, but these are some carpenters that were able to go on to a show called Tough as Nails, season 4, and had some tremendous outcome from it. So we're going to let them go into their story, but first we're going to ask them name, local kind of introduction. So we're going to start with the veterano over here, right? So the OG. So brother, why don't you start with your name and your local, please?
All right, man. Sergio Robles from Local 714. Originally started off as Local 803 back when it was on Chapman, and then they obviously switched over to the area code. But yeah, Orange County 714.
Nice. Brother up there, let me get your name and your local.
Yeah. This is George Zavala, local 909. I'm actually a rep for 909. I started out in 803 when it was 803 in Orange County. But since then, I've switched over to 909 in San Bernardino.
Nice. So I got one more question for the both of you. What advice would you give to some of the apprentices and young carpenters coming up behind you so we can keep them in this trade and not leaving?
Go for it, George.
One of the big things I think is asking questions and asking the questions why to understand whatever it is that you're doing. I'm real big on that. I like asking questions and asking the reasons, why we're doing certain things. So as an apprentice, it's really big. Um, being able to have a area where you can ask those questions. That's the only way we're going to be able to pass down knowledge to all the apprentices that are coming up. So my best advice is always ask questions, and don't ever hesitate to ask the reason why we're doing it, or the way we're doing it.
Yeah, my advice to the apprentices, first off, know what you're getting yourself into. You're jumping into a world where we don't play games out there. You know what I mean? You got to be ready to throw down. It's like like I tell my guys, it's like getting into the ring. Every day you show up, you put that mouthpiece in, you close the gate behind you. It's time to throw down, and there's no letting off the gas. It's either you or the day, right? You want to win the day, or the day's going to win you. They have to. They want to come out with a passion, a fire. You know what I mean? Basically dress to impress, but you're coming out. You want to work to impress the people that you're gonna, be out there working for. You, there's no time for lollygagging in our trade, right? I mean, you're in a man's world now. It's time to step it up a notch, and like I said, man, put that mouthpiece in and get ready to throw down because it's just, it's a different animal, right? I mean, I'm not knocking nobody, but anyone can go and flip a burger or sit in a bank in a cold office all day or whatever and wear a suit and tie. But you got to be able to stand out in that sun, that hot sun, that cold weather, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, cruise around with a belt, loaded down with 45 pounds of weight, and be proud to do that. You know what I mean? Some of these guys come out with just, well, I'm here, so you hired me, put me to do the work, right? But also at the same time, we gotta coach them up, and we gotta coach them up in the right way. You know what I mean? But as far as giving them advice, they, like I said, just come out and put out. You know what I mean? Don't be that guy that's going to be out there where people are screaming and yelling at you, asking you what the hell you're doing. You gotta prove yourself, right? It's just like trying to join a football team or a baseball team. You got to know, your coach has to know that you're a worthy player and you're down to get down. You know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely. And I want to tell you guys, thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time to join us this Memorial Day weekend. It's a very special weekend, so really appreciate that. I'm gonna let my brother Matt jump in here and ask you guys a couple questions, and maybe we'll go back and forth.
Yeah, four.
Yeah, that was well said. Thank you, guys. So at what point during your career did the light click on for you? Maybe it was earlier in your career, or maybe it was later in your career that, hey, volunteering, being part of the local, and putting skin in the game is very important. At what point in your career did you guys think that light switch went on, as far as your carpentering career goes?
For me, to be honest with you, it didn't. So I got in 96, 97. And at that time, I still wasn't sure of my path, and what where I was headed in life. I was still kind of on that party train in a way, and but I was out there to do my job. But as far as getting involved with the local and this and that, it didn't really click in until after going to school a few times, and hearing from the instructors, hey, get involved, get your hands dirty, go to your meetings. That's where you're going to learn a lot of what's going on and why you're doing what you're doing, and you'll learn why we go out there and why we pound the pavement. Like I remember when we were apprentices, they would take us out to go, what I mean, go shut it down sometimes, and we were just like, like, what are we doing, man? We had some people that were pissed off at us, right? And then, but at the same time, we had guys saying, hey, this is what we do. You know what I mean? We're fighting for wages. We're fighting for our jobs out here. We can't let these guys take our work. And so then it started to click in. You know what I mean? That's when I was like, oh shit, this is more than just a job. You know what I mean? This is we need to be involved and stand our ground, if we're going to be a union. So that it clicked in probably, right, I want to say probably about third period apprentice, fourth period apprentice. That's when I really started getting, in tune.
Yeah, probably about the same for me. A little bit about halfway through my career so far. One of the big things is you kind of take a lot of it for granted. Coming up as an apprentice, right? Take it for granted all the opportunities that we have, the projects we have to work on, things that all the benefits that we have, right? It's just there, right? And you don't think further until you really start asking and talking to more people about it and realizing like we had to fight to get exactly where we're at. And you start to want a little piece of that, right? You want to start being able to leave this place better than we left it, and like you said, put some skin in the game and start to help out and make that difference within the union. So you come in just kind of not really understanding, right? I didn't have that much guidance on what the union was, and I figured it all out on my own, and it took time with some good mentors and to get me to where I am today. But about halfway through my career, I started to realize the importance of coming out when I can to help out. So.
Yeah, I like to ask that question because it could click, as soon as you get in, it could click a couple years in, it could click, 10, 15, 20 years in. But,
Yeah.
Eventually it's going to stick once you educate yourself on, where your money's going and how beneficial it is to, get out there and put skin in the game and represent the jobs, wages, and benefits and whatnot. So, I always tell guys, how do I get involved? It's never too late. It's never too late. Some guys, hey, I've been in 15, 20 years, haven't been to a meeting. I'll see you at this next one.
Yeah.
And talking about it, during lunch and during your breaks, they may be listening and not paying attention, but you plant that seed in their head like, damn, I haven't been involved or I haven't been to a meeting. So that's something I like to ask the guys and get their perspective
I would
from
like to
that.
piggyback off that, Matt, and kind of a little bit off what Sergio said, and we have to keep them informed. And you journeymen out there, and you higher tier apprentices. These younger guys are looking at you, and maybe the way you're treating somebody is because of the way you were treated, right? And maybe the outlook that you have is, oh, I don't need to go to a meeting is because the way you were brought up. But if we're changing that culture and we're letting them know, hey, we need to be hitting up just our local meetings. That leads to committees, that leads to cup opportunities. So much thing that's more involved that's just not politics. But at the bottom line is though, is politics what's going to help us survive. So getting involved, all you journeymen out there, you guys make a big impression on those younger journeymen and apprentices. Don't be afraid to steer them to a meeting, and maybe that means that you have to start showing up. For us, we have our contract negotiations going on right now, and we got some big news coming up. And next week we have a big meeting, and it's good that we show up. That way, you're not getting secondhand knowledge or something off Facebook that might or might not be right. And if it's off by a couple cents or a sentence, you want to you want to get mad about it. That's why it's important to show up. So show that leadership by training them in that way. Also, as you're showing them how to hang sheetrock, how to form up concrete, how to climb F-coal forms, how to acoustic ceilings, everything that we're doing, pile driving, scaffolding, all that stuff. We got to teach that leadership too. So good stuff.
Yeah, 10-4. And honestly, I mean, for me, in the early part of my career, probably right after third, fourth period apprentice, I picked it up pretty quick, right? And I was always in a foreman role, and I was just that guy that would never leave work, right? So I never really made it to a lot of meetings, but I would, like you were saying, I would always encourage these guys, hey, if you want to go to the meeting, go ahead and go, because I was always the guy that was like, hey, we need to get this done, So obviously I wasn't leaving, and even now, like I'm working in La Jolla, right? And I'll talk to some of these young guys, and I'm like, hey, have you tried to sign up for that journeyman leadership program in Vegas? And they're like, what is that? I don't even know what it is, right? So I'm passing on that message to these guys and instilling in them, call your local, man, see what you can do to get involved or how you sign up or this and that. And they're like, well, what do they do? I go, just go, man. It's going to benefit you and you're going to learn a lot. You're going to come back. You might even come back with a bigger fire than what you've got under you right now. But like for me, that's where I'm lacking right now as of now. I'd like to get more involved with my meetings and I'm like, now I'm a general foreman, right? Now it's like they expect me to stay 24/7
No,
and
100%.
stand my ground and finish. So as far
You
as
can't
for me,
you
like
can't be
what
the
I
guy
do,
leaving early to go do this or that. You need to be the one that they can depend on. That you're the one making sacrifices. That's why you're in that position.
yeah. And so, but like you were saying, I encourage these guys to go, get involved. You guys are young. Don't do what I'm doing. Don't shy away from it. Get there. See what you can do. You know what I mean? If you want to get recognized or you want to be involved, you got to show up. That's the only way. It's just like coming to work. If you want to be a standout, you know what I mean? You want to be that guy that's coming to the boss saying, hey, what's next? What do you mean what's next? Well, I'm already done. You're done? Really? All right, cool. Let's go. And that's the guy they're going to go to. They're going to lean on that guy. That's always, gimme, gimme. Come on. What can I do? What can I do? Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Don't be that guy that's just standing off in the background, So, but yeah, it's pretty shocking. Some of these guys, they don't know what that is. And, to encourage them to do that. And then just to, stick it out, because some of these guys, I hear them saying, I'm thinking about doing this and doing that. And I try and I share with them, like for me in 2014, when I had cancer, if it wasn't for my benefits that I had, I can honestly say my wife and I probably would have had to sell our house to pay all my bills to have fought in that cancer battle. You know what I mean? But thank God our union provides those benefits, right? I had the medical, and lo and behold, I think I paid maybe a couple grand, if that, out of my own pocket. And when I heard how much the MRIs, the CT scans, the surgery, this and that, man, you'd have to be a millionaire to afford that, honestly. And thank God for the union, because if not, I don't know what I would have done. So yeah, it's important that they get involved and understand why they have what they have.
George, how is it approaching the membership now, knowing that you've been on a TV series, right, where you came back a champion, and and a badass carpenter. How is it now you approaching them to try to get them to come to local meetings without chasing them away? Because that's a fine line, right? They're like, yeah. We're gonna have a lot of members that say that, but once in a while you're gonna hit that one guy. Okay, maybe I will come tonight. Like, how do we
Yeah.
find that line?
So talking to members on the job site and just having an open conversation, to be honest. One of the things that I really have always tried to do, or what I do now, is always just having those open conversations, because as leaders of our industry, it's important to pass that down to the apprentices or even the journeymen who might have not gotten good information about the union and what it is that we do. And it's always been something that I've been passionate about, fighting for what we got. So having those conversations and kind of explaining, like, hey, like what the meetings are for, what we do, what we talk about, right? How we can network and, even look for work, or just, meet some good general foremen, superintendents, and building those connections with people. It's all important. It's all part of being in the union. And I think it's a lot of people don't talk about it as much as we should. Just having those conversations with, whether it's me or anybody else, just out on the job site at lunch, talking about, hey, what are some of the union politics that are going on right now, right? Why are we doing the certain things that we're doing, and why is it important for us? Because if we just avoid these conversations, at the end of the day, it really is going to affect all of us, right? We're all carpenters, and if we don't have these conversations, we're only as strong as as many people we can get to show up and keep our union moving.
Matt, take it away.
So I wanted to ask, how did you guys get on the Toughest Nails season? And why, and why did you do it? Besides the big cash prize, but what drove you to get on the show and represent the Carpenters Union in the best way possible?
Um, for me, it was a trip. I was on the job. I was at Plant 2 in Huntington Beach. At the time, I was working with Shimmick, and I was moving a load of some material on the forklift. And very rarely did I ever hear my phone go off saying that I got an email at work. And I don't know, it just kept buzzing and buzzing. So I had to pull over. I checked it. And, prior to that, I had seen the Instagram that the union had put out. Tough as Nails looking for contestants, season 4, sign up. I was like, what a trip, man. I'd always watch the show from day one. My wife and I loved it. And I'll never forget my wife. I think it was probably the very first season. She goes, you think you can do something like that? I'm all, hell yeah, I know I can. And so anyways, that came. I applied and thought nothing of it, right? I'm like, whatever. I didn't even tell my wife because I didn't think anything of it. I was like, whatever, this is no big deal. Cool, I signed up. And then a couple days later, like I said, I was moving that material. And my phone kept buzzing, and I checked, and it said, this is, I believe her name was Laura Salinas. She goes, I'd like to talk to you. We went over your application, and this is, we want to talk to you. We want to know more about you. And that was it. So I started talking to them, and then one thing led to another, and we'd like to interview you again. And I was like, damn, this is the real deal. What's going on? And I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm getting on these interviews. I need your help. They want to Zoom me. I don't even know how to Zoom, right? And I was like, what the hell? She's like, I'll help you. She goes, for what? I go, that show, Tough as Nails. She goes, what? And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't know, man. I go, I'm going to have to take the day off, I guess, and do this interview. It's at 1 o'clock. She goes, well, you better take it off. And that's how it started, right? And so I was just all pumped up, and time went on, and one interview after the next and another interview after the next. So long story short, man, we got into it. We had to start sending in videos of us doing burpees once a week, right? And the first time I attempted it, I maybe did like 12. The last time I did burpees was in Pop Warner football, right?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I got this. And I did like 12, and I almost puked, man. I thought I was going to pass out. And my wife encouraged me, though. She goes, you can do more than that. Come on. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I did the first video, and I think I did like 25. I submitted. The next one was like 30. And to be honest with you, I was like, man, I don't know if I can pull this off. But my brother had just passed away in February of 21. And she said, do not give up. Your brother would not. He'd be pissed. You know, he would be pissed off if you tapped out, and you know that. And so right then that fueled the fire, man. She just lit that fire under my ass, and I was like, you know what, you're right. She's, I'll do this for your brother, and do it for your family. And so that was the fuel behind it. But I also wanted to prove to myself too that I could actually pull this off, right? Because I had told her before, yeah, you know, as a man, I can do this. You know what I mean? So then the man part kicked in, and I was like, I gotta show her I can pull this off. But the main reason behind it was to just, you know what I mean? I was doing it for my brother and my family, and I had all intentions of going on there and taking all these youngsters out, you know, because I knew I was probably going to be one of the older ones out there, right? And then we got on there, and well, also the big thing too is to represent our union, right? To show the world what our Carpenters Union is made of, and how they train us, and that we're just not some guys that just show up, right? We go out there and we get the job done. And like, you know, when you're driving on the freeway and going over those bridges, we're the ones building them, right? Or when you walk into a hospital and whatever, you know, that's who builds it, right? Or when you go by these big stadiums, you know, or go into a stadium, we're the ones building that. And I wanted people to see that union carpenters are the real deal. We're not some fake, you know, wannabe on reality TV. It's real and it's raw and it's what we did. And so, and then lo and behold, this guy came along. You know what I mean? I thought I had it in the bag, and then he showed up.
Well, that's your cue, George. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So similar story. I mean, I was sitting in my truck one morning, saw the same post. Assuming it was the same post. It was like 5 in the morning, sitting right before work, just chilling in my truck 'cause I always get to work a little early. I had enough time. I was like, let me give it a shot, right? Let me apply. Let me see what happens. So I put my application in. I'm sitting there, knock it out real quick, go to work, totally forget about it. I want to say maybe a week and a half rolls by, and I get home and I find a email. I don't check my email that often. I never had a purpose for it, right? So I came home. I looked at my email. I was like, oh shit, I have something, you know. At first I thought it was a spam. I didn't know. I forgot that I applied for the show. But as I kept reading, I was like, oh, okay, all right. So then, you know, I told my wife, and we kind of went with the spam thing for a second, and then we are like, no, it's for real. So, and then we had a conversation with the same with Laura, and she gave us a rundown on the show, and you know, getting down on the burpees and starting to submit videos of ourselves, because it was a weekly thing. Like Sergio was saying, you know, weekly we had to submit videos, and it was actually quite a lengthy process. You know, I took a couple days off, or I had to leave early quite a bit just to you know, accommodate for the whole hiring process or the whole onboarding process, right? But it was exciting, man. We had interviews with CBS, and it was a big thing, you know. And looking back, like, it was the whole process made it like what it was, you know. It was a chance for us to represent our union and really showcase, you know, what carpenters are, and that was the only thing that, you know, the whole time I was going, like, before I was like, I could do this. Like, what do we do on every job site is we adapt, and we have a new scenario every day. There's nothing that, you know, we don't adapt to, or, you know, so, you know, going into it, I just, you know, just simple it, dumb it down, you know, like we like to say, right? Just make it simple, and just keep it rolling, and use all the skills that I've learned out there in the field to get me to, you know, hopefully win. One of the things I never thought of myself as winning, right? I always just thought of just keep your head down and just keep pushing, and you know, yeah.
George,
And here we are.
George, you said that first episode, I'm here to win the truck.
You still got the
You know
truck? You
what?
still got the truck?
The one, yeah. The one thing
Yeah.
that I really wanted, if I did win, was the truck. That was
Hell
like the
yeah.
one thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm here for the truck. That's exactly, you know.
So
So
I want
on
to
day
touch.
one, I had to throw it down a little bit and let people know what I was here for, you know.
Yep.
So I wanted to just touch in on that, and that was me first meeting you guys was at one of the first delegate meeting after our merger into your guys' council. Got to learn a couple things right off the bat. Pete Rodriguez was still our EST. To hear him speak was absolutely life changing. But the stage, we went to this place and the apprentices made this stage, and they do this at every delegate meeting we go to, and they're phenomenal. But that wasn't our norm. And then George comes out with a championship belt, right? And
Yeah,
the crowd's going wild. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is how every
yeah.
meeting is, and it pretty much is. And it's good stuff. And I was able to get a picture with you guys, and that was pretty cool to know that your guys' career has helped you guys. Going on this show has helped you to reach people that maybe you wouldn't have reached. So hats off to you guys, man. That's good stuff. I do have a question. Here's my next one. I'll lead into this. Is how was that showing up to local 714 during one of those episodes? You're like, hey, we're going to the Carpenter Center. Oh shit,
Oh,
Sergio, that's your local, bro. Like, let's go into that, man.
It was. I remember that morning. Because we never knew what we were getting into, right? So we all load up in the van and we're cruising, and the minute we got on the 5 freeway and we started heading south, in my mind I was like, man, I wonder if we're going to Disneyland. I didn't even think that we would be going to our local. It didn't even dawn on me, right? I'm like, man, maybe we're going to Disneyland and do some crazy challenge, and everyone's like, where do you think we're going? Where do you think we're going? And then all of a sudden, we start to get to this exit, right? And I'm like looking to the left. I go, no way, we're going to our local. And I looked at Jordan, and we're in the van. I was like, are you kidding me right now? And he goes, what? And sure enough, man, we pull in, and lo and behold, I was like, oh man, now we really need to step it up, right? So since him and I were on the same team, and getting to know George on the show too, I was pumped up because he wasn't the only carpenter, right? There was that girl Sanithia, right? And she's from New
Yep.
York, and let me tell you, man, that girl can hold it down too as a sister in the brotherhood. I mean,
What
she's
local?
got a
Do you
story, but
remember what local she was out of, Sergio?
I honestly I do not, but she was an apprentice at the time, and
Well, if you
I'd
guys got
imagine
her, if you have her on Instagram, tag her. That's yeah, 100%. I
yeah,
remember
Sanithia
George
Bland,
making
man.
that comment. She was feeding you. She had those planks ready to go before you even had to say anything.
Yeah, that
And
girl didn't
Sergio, you
forget.
were leading that, bro. That's didn't matter the outcome. I mean, dude, we've been to that local plenty of times. We just had our delegate meeting there. We took our
Yeah,
picture on that big orange chair. That is an awesome local, man.
yeah, that's where I learned all my skills, right? But back when it was 803, I don't know if you guys know, our school was in Santa Ana at the time, and I had Kim Ferguson, who was my instructor, and Pete's instructor. Pete and I were apprentices together. I have full on respect for Pete. Love that dude, man. He's come a long way, and he's built us up. So, hats off to Pete, man. That he's an animal. He knows how to get after it, and he you know what I mean. He's stepping up for all of us. So, nothing but utmost respect for Pete. And I remember back in the days of us grinding in that old school back there in Santa Ana. But now this new local, it's amazing, right? It's a
Beautiful.
top of the line training center. But yeah, so when we pulled in there, and we just, we were kind of like, all right, man, this is our wheelhouse. This is where we got to throw down, right? And so it in my mind, and we had this in the bag, you know what I'm saying? And sure enough, because we know how to do our thing and we do it the right way. We do it from start to finish, but we're plumb level with, and that's the bottom line, right? Where other people look at it and we're just going to throw this thing together. So lo and behold, the outcome of the scaffold build, right? You guys, I mean, I was bummed, but at the
There's a
same
reason
time,
we're highly skilled. The way they did theirs, hey, they won, but
yeah,
we're not trying to kill nobody, right? We're gonna do it
no,
fast,
not.
professional.
I mean,
Fucking
and hats
George
off
is
to them.
whooping some ass up there.
Yeah, we were getting down, and you know what though? In the end, this dude right here, man, George stepped up, and to me that was a win when he got on that acoustical ceiling challenge, and he was just going to town. I was like, oh, this kid, he's got it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, it was super cool to go there and film and do that whole thing. And I mean, when I think back, I'm grateful for the opportunity because I mean, I'm like I'm one of, I don't know, 6 guys from across America that was chosen to be on the show, but not just to be on the show to represent my skill set that I learned through the Carpenters Union, right? And to go out there and represent, and same with George and Sanithia and everyone else that was on that show. I'm not knocking any of them, but for us being union members, I'm like, man, what an opportunity, right, to get out there and display what we know how to do. And then, like I said, George just capped it off with that. That was a win for me. I was like, oh, right, we're back. So
Hey, it was exciting pulling up to. I don't know if it was 714-803 at the time. I think it was 714 already, huh?
Yeah.
714 at the time. When we were getting off the freeway, I remember looking at Sergio like, there's no way they're taking us here right now. Um, and pulling into that parking lot, man, it honestly was a lot of pressure. Just feeling like, okay, now it's time to represent, and if we mess up, like, there's no going back from messing up on TV with when you're representing your union, But at the end of the day, Sergio and I, we held up our end of the bargain, we
Definitely didn't
put
mess up,
down.
bro. Definitely didn't mess up. Sometimes it doesn't go our way. It's the way we react to that what separates us too. So
Exactly,
fucking shit, good stuff.
and that's why like we were able to actually just like push away all that whatever all that pressure and just rely on the skills that we do have. And once you start working, you kind of forget about everything else. It's just like being at work, right? You easy to forget everything else, and you just get lost in your work. So it was cool doing that at 714 and really being able to represent. And then that acoustical challenge, it was my first time putting up acoustical tiles, and it's the same thing, right? Measure, cut, measure twice, cut once. So back to our basics, and it was good being able to rely on all the stuff that we learned through our apprenticeship and as carpenters.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
oh,
that's for sure.
if
Manny,
you, if you guys if you guys do go back to 714, if you look up at the acoustical tiles, they still have all our names up there from the challenge.
Oh, nice.
I will
Nice.
remember that.
George,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, during your championship run, I'm not gonna lie, you blew through that thing and didn't look like you broke a sweat. At what point during the championship runs did you were like, I got this in the bag, man? I smoked these fools or something like that, you know?
Um, Never. Honestly, I was trying my hardest not to even look or pay attention to where anybody else was. I could hear Sergio and everybody else screaming on the side, like, do it right, do it. And I was trying to just focus on what I was doing, because honestly, if I pick my head up, I could lose a couple seconds, and those couple seconds can really cost me. But I did break a sweat. I honestly, when I got to the top, I couldn't even pick up my arms. Like, if you watch the episode again, you'll see me roll onto the top.
Oh, yeah.
If I had all my strength and everything, I would have, I wouldn't have rolled. But my whole body was already done when we got to the top, and it felt like I jumped in a swimming pool. Like, I was soaking wet. But yeah, that finale was no joke. They really make you work for it. I want to say, do you remember how long it was, Sergio?
Seemed like an eternity, man. It seemed like forever, but I'll tell you, these guys, and hats off to those other guys that were involved too, the other two contestants. But hey, there's certain things you guys don't see, and they have to edit it for TV and make it shorter than what it is. But if you could see every step that they actually took, it was incredible, man, to watch these guys. I mean, you were out of breath watching them. It was no joke. It seemed like a football field long of challenges. And I mean, breaking through the wall, the grinding, the breaking the ice to get the saw, the putting the ladder together, and undoing the chains and cutting through the chain. I mean,
Yeah.
and then you got
Sergio,
to take.
Sergio,
Uh,
before you take my question, I got to ask you, what were you thinking the challenge before that when George went into overtime and his jackhammer got stuck?
you know what, man? I honestly, not to knock that other contestant. He's a great kid, headstrong, and he's tough. That kid was strong. I knew George was going to pull it off. I already felt it. Honestly, I can tell you right now, when going through the challenges, like going back to the first one, I thought for sure I was a done deal, right? I'm not a runner, but my brother carried me through that. I just paced myself, like, and then I don't know if George remembers, but I passed that on. I'm like, just pace yourself through this thing, man. You've got it.
Yep.
Like I said, man, I've seen his skill set, and I knew he had what it took to get the job done. But when he got that jackhammer stuck, I wasn't even worried at all. I'm like, man, this kid, he knows what's going on. And believe me, I wanted to say so many things, right, when everything was going down. We all did.
Jingo!
Yeah, man. I'm like, hey, man, let's go. Move that thing. Pull that thing out, But he had it, And when he ended up getting picked, he fought to be one of the final three, right? And in my mind and in my heart, I knew, I'm like, this kid, he's going to get this job done. I know it. Like I said, you saw everything he did, right? He was unstoppable. And he's got a gas tank too. The firefighter, our guy from New York, he was a couple years older than I was. You saw him. He had lungs of dude, that guy could run probably 100 miles and not be tired. And I thought maybe he was going to be the one, but this kid too, he's got some stamina. And watching him do the work was crazy. And telling you, man, proud of that dude.
Yeah, we all
George,
are. Hey, we all are.
was that chest full of cash? Was it real?
Which one?
What was it?
What the cash at the end that you got, George? Was it real?
Oh, that big thing. Yeah, it's real.
It was all full of your cash,
Oh, the
tax
box of
free or what?
Yeah. I got the cash on the truck.
Oh yeah. Hey, that you guys, because I was in my house just by myself on my couch. Go, go! I mean, you guys had me pumped up because you guys wear that brand and you guys wore it proudly, and I like to thank you and on behalf of the Carpenters because you guys went out there, put us out on a national TV, reality TV. You're out there putting it out there, like you guys said, showing off the training, and it was inspiring. I mean, it was inspiring. I mean, we were talking about it at work, and how pumped up we were about it. So I mean, I just want to just keep congratulations again to both of you guys, and way to bring that belt home, man, and way to
Thank you,
represent that
man.
union out there, man.
The
That's
glasses from 714.
Come on.
Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks.
so
Yeah, no, hey, you're right, about it being on a national level and, representing our union. After the show, we kind of, it was a good spotlight, right, for our union and being able to really showcase, right? Hey, Union Carpenters did it all the way here, right? And, even outside of the show and the union, just, I had a couple of little kids come up to me and like, hey, um, talking to me about the show and wanting to take a picture, and it was never about the pictures or anything like that, right? It was just more about just being a union carpenter and talking about that and really letting people know, like, union carpenters, no shade on any other trade, but we're the best that there is.
Well,
I
yeah, we
agree.
are.
I agree.
That's why, that's how the saying goes, don't call the hall, we do it all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We get after it. So, yeah, one thing, going back to the show is, you learn a lot about your strengths, right? You learn a lot about, your mentality and where you stand. I mean, because it really takes a lot of determination, and you'll second guess yourself. You know what I'm saying? And like when I blew out my back on that one box challenge, George and I, when we saw those things too, we looked at each other and we're like, all right, they log cab in the corners. But then when you have your mindset, you're ready to go, all that shit goes out the door, right? It goes out the window. You just start throwing down, and then all of a sudden you're asking them to check your project, and they come over and they check it, and they're like, nope, and they're giving you the thumbs down. You're like, what do you mean? Come on, right? And then you're going for it again. And him and I, we would always look at each other and like nod our heads, and like the concrete challenge, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
him and
that was a good one.
I knew for a fact on that one. I said, man, if we do not get this, you know what I mean? Something's not right. And
Right.
lo and behold, we threw down on that, and that thing was just it was like natural, like like I said on the show, it was like a perfect symphony, right? Everybody was in tune, and everything was just flowing. Nobody was getting excited. We were just, like, you do this, you do that. All right, let's go. Calm down, relax. Let's go. We got this. You know what I mean? Level this, level that. Tie up that rebar. Let's go. Let's get hot. And man, that one was a great feeling. That concrete challenge. It was cool, and just yeah, I know George had a blast on that one.
Hell yeah, felt like I was at home.
Right? You do it. You do. It's your bread and butter right there, dog. You do it
Yeah,
every
That's
day.
it, man.
that's
We just
what we
another day
do.
at work.
Yeah.
So,
Matt, what else you got, big dog?
oh, I mean, the show is what I wanted to talk about, and then what are your guys' bigger aspirations after that? You know, now that you guys are in your positions that you're at, because I know you guys are general foremans and whatnot, and foremans. What's the next level for you guys? Are you is it, what's your goal as far as next level is union wise, in the field wise, you know, family wise, you know, because you wear the patch every day, and we want to, you know, this is what you represent.
For me, you know, like the biggest takeaway, like I said, I mean, I had some anxieties when I went on the show because, you know, back in 2014, having cancer. Long story short, I prior to that, you know, around that time, I would go to the gym after the fact. You know, after I was sick and pulled through, I'd get on a treadmill and my mind would shut down. Like I think my heart was like I was going to have a heart attack or something, and it was an anxiety that haunted me forever. And going on to the show, that was a thing that was kind of like, you know, handcuffing me a little bit. But when I won that first challenge, right then and there, and hats off to Tough as Nails and the producers and Phil Keegan and his wife for putting it together, they helped me get over that hump, right? When I mean, that running, going back and forth, getting in the boat, doing this and that, as soon as I crossed that finish line, I knew that that anxiety was done. I didn't have it anymore. And that show proved that for me. That showed it to me, right? So after it was all said and done, coming back into the real world, we're done filming, we're going back to work. I just had this fire in me to prove to myself that I can climb any level without a hesitation now. Nothing's going to stop me, right? I'm a GF. If they want me to come up to superintendent, I'm ready. Put me in the ring, man. Let's go. Put the gloves on. It's time to throw down, right? And I just want to be that leader that's got a positive attitude and likes to lift people up, right? Because to be straight with you guys, man, nowadays we're lacking that, right? It just seems like the next guy next to you is trying to keep you down and not build you up, right? Where that's like us as leaders. We got to instill that in these guys and just say, hey, man, you know what? That guy, he's ready to come up. Let's go. Bring him up. You know what I mean? And I've learned from some old school cats in the trade that, you know, they would always tell me, hey, if I come up, you're coming up with me. And the reason why is because I see what you can do. I see you know how to do it. And you've got it, right? And so I've carried that with me. And my boy Joe Quijas, he's instilled that in me a lot. And he proved that to me. So now I carry that tradition on. So from the show, and like I said, it just showed me sky's the limit. Nothing can stop you. You know what I mean? It's all right here. It's all what you have in your head and how hard you want to get after it and what you know, prove yourself. You know, prove to yourself that you're worthy of being up at that top level. You know, nothing or nobody can stop you, right? Even if, like they say, you know, there's haters out there, right? They're going to hate on you. Big deal. Just block that out, man. You know, block it all out. Focus on your skill and let your work prove it and when they hand you a project, show them the hours that you accumulated. Hey, we beat those man hours, right? And it's all about how you bring those people up. So I just want to encourage people to be better, right? Especially these apprentices, because the apprentices are what's going to benefit us as we come up, right? When it comes time for me to retire, these youngsters have to carry on that tradition, and they have to be the ones to say, hey, when I come up, you're coming up with me, right? And that's where I'm at now. It just instilled a whole different mindset in me. And those anxieties of uncertainty, they're gone. You know what I mean? So I just want to see people come up and make it right and handle business the right way. You know what I mean? And encourage each other, lift each other up, build each other up. You know what I'm saying? And that's that.
Okay, George.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to piggyback off Sergio. Sergio, he's great at you know, explaining. But you know, I want to same thing. You know, leave this place better than how it was when I came into the trade. I came in, you know, learning, trying to figure it all out by myself, and you know, I want to make it easier for people to understand the importances of the union and really appreciating the things that we have. As for myself, like I want to I don't necessarily am looking in the future for where I want to be. I'm more or less looking at, hey, what can I do now? What can I do now for the people around me, the membership, and making everybody aware of why we need to keep fighting together. Because it's something that I've really come to appreciate. The union's given me a great life, a great some great opportunities, right? Like being on the TV show, becoming a journeyman, and having that consistent work and being able to buy a house and all the things that I never thought I would be able to do growing up, right? Coming up in a time where I didn't have my dad and I had just a lot of things growing up and um, giving back to the union because it's really done a lot for me that and sharing that with the apprentices coming up, right? The importance of working hard and just keeping your head down and not letting the noise get to you, right? Because that's the only way we're going to keep making good journeymen, right?
Yep,
Keeping
yep.
everybody head down, working. So I just want to leave this place better than how it is when I came in.
And
Yeah.
George,
I
I
want I want
want
to
to
say
go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
after you won the competition, you brought your family out there, and
Yeah.
you got to see your family. I thought that was a beautiful thing, man. And just to see that you represent yourself and you represent the brand great, well, and that's what it's about, at the end of the day. So, but guys look up to that. I look up to it. You guys, you fired me up, you inspired me, and you still do. You put the brand out there, you represented your family and your names well, and it's a beautiful thing. So I thank you for that, man. Thank you.
Well, I want to
Thank
lead
you.
Yeah.
into
Thanks.
I want to lead into a couple things after that real quick, you guys. Is that again back for me that first delegate meeting? My paths crossed with all three of you guys. Two of you guys, Sergio and George, tough as nails, meeting you guys, seeing what, like, oh my goodness, this could be me, right? And you're talking about the influence that you guys have is very, 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 very powerful. Leading into Matt, that was my first night meeting Matt. And here's a shout out to local 619 on their white ballot slate for their next 3 years on their leadership and local officers, e-board, and delegates. Influence like that goes a long way. I had a conversation with Matt and it changed my life, man. Like these are things I'm like, did you just witness that? And Matt's just educating me, bro, left and right. Well, did you know this? I'm like, I didn't, bro, but well, what's up? And we had a whole conversation and it led into to meeting people like Daniel De La Rosa, Eric out there. We're gonna be interviewing Doug Hicks at our next delegate meeting. These 619 guys had a big influence on just kind of taking me in and saying, hey, this is why we do what we do. Because I was at class with Daniel, I think two classes, the 212 and delegate meeting. He might have been there for another class, but like you talked about the ITC going out there is no joke. But the education and the vibe that we put on other guys, it does rub off 100%. And
Yeah.
shout out to 619 for my white ballot, Matt. Fucking,
Thank you.
hey, bro.
Hey,
I'm glad you're going to be there
it
in
all
3 years.
starts with that leadership. It wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here without guys like Pete Rodriguez. I mean, I learned a lot from Pete. I call him Papa Pete for a reason. Um, he's,
Hell
he's
yeah.
he's
Hey,
he's
shout out to the
educated me.
McCarran slate, right? We got the
Right?
McCarran slate going
Oh,
on
yeah.
at the general convention,
Come
and
on.
I know who I will be voting for. I'm one of the delegates that got elected to go, and I take that very serious. And I'm definitely not going there for vacation, for a
Yeah.
trip. I'm going there for not only to cover it social media wise for my local, but for my council. But there's a reason why we're supporting him and doing your homework, man. That 19 or is it 2005 when he got elected, and they have that video. It's on YouTube. You research that Doug McCarran speech. That's no joke, man. It's life changing, and what he's done to turn around everything. People could agree or not agree, but we're definitely on that slope going up. And power to all you people that are going and going to vote the way you're voting. But I know who the Western states is supporting, and I know who I will be supporting. So shout out to all you badass motherfuckers. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and the other takeaway from it was meeting George. You know what I mean? I was in kind of a dark place, you know, because my brother and my dad, they showed me all my skills. You know, my dad had a machine shop. My brother worked for him, and that's where I learned all my skills is from my dad, my brother, and you know, like I said, I went on there uncertain, down. You know, man, my weight was getting out of control, and you know, but I knew I could do whatever it took to win that. And then when my back blew out, I was like, man, I'm gonna keep fighting as hard as I can. But meeting George was huge, and like I said, I saw so much in this kid, and I call him a kid because you know I'm 54. What are you, George? 26 now? 25?
27.
But anyways,
Oh, you're still a baby, George. Stop.
but this guy.
He's a reality TV star, dog.
My daughter's 25. I have a 25-year-old daughter. You're, Mijo, you did good. Hey,
He's a
when you
youngster,
were
but this guy carries
Sergio,
himself
when
as
you were
a
yelling Mijo and all those challenges, I felt that so much. George, you
yeah.
100% knew you had to feel that. That's just something that comes from the
Hey,
raza, you know, when you hear
right?
that Mijo, and it's, you know that what that feeling is and what that caring goes for. So
Yeah.
we heard
No,
it,
and like I
Sergio.
said, I mean, we formed a bond, right? And George is my brother, not just from the brotherhood, but I look at him as a brother, you know, and I love the dude, and I knew he had everything it took in him to win the whole thing, the prize package, right? And then the cool part was, you guys obviously know that I brought him on with me. I'm like,
Yep.
he's got to be on my crew. So I did everything in my power in our office to say, hey, I got this guy. He's got to be on the crew. He's a badass. And lo and behold, it all worked out. So I was able to hire him. And time went on, and then he started telling me what he wanted to get involved in. And you know what? I said, more power to you. Go do it, man. You're young. Go handle your business. Take care of your family. You know. And this guy, I mean, he had to step up, right, at a young age. He had to grow fast. And more power to him, man. And like I said, that's our job, is to encourage the upcomers, right? And see them grow and just keep pushing them and let them do their thing, you know. And I know he's going to go even further. And that's another takeaway from the show that I'm very proud of, was meeting George and us forming a bond. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't hang out all the time, but talk. But that guy, he could walk in my front door and I wouldn't even say, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'd say, "Come on in, man. What are you doing? Cool, good to see you." You know what I mean? That's my brother. You know what I mean?
Likewise.
He's family. He's family to me. So, you know, and then as far as us being out in the work field, encouraging all the other youngsters, like I said, we really have to. Times are tough right now, right? Times are crazy.
Mhm.
Our government, everything that's going down, man, you never know which way we're headed. But the bottom line is for us, as long as we're working and we got all these youngsters under us, like you guys talk about, we got to share with them and help them understand why we are who we are, like George was saying, and why we are where we are, and why we have what we have. And that's it, man. Sky's the limit in our trade, right? As long as we're pounding that pavement, getting the shit done, and people are happy with our product, we're going to keep working, whichever company you work for, right? And at the same time, safety, right? Safety comes first in our trade, because at any given time, man, if you're not head sharp out there, you're not headstrong. Like I tell my guys every Monday, I'm going to be blunt with you guys. I'm going to just throw it out there. I tell them, hey, how are you guys doing? You all fucked off right now? Because if you are, be a man and tell me, I want you to go home. You're not doing any good for me or yourself or your family. Family comes first before anything. If you need to go home, go home. I need you to be 100%, and that's that. But if you're ready to rock and roll, then let's fight the fight. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the bottom line. And again, to go back on what George is saying, is just sharing everything that's going on and helping them understand why we are a union, why we have what we have. And like you going back to you, Mr. Blake, about Pete, you know, and everything he's been doing, and the McCarrans. Oh man, you know what I mean? And Frank Hawk, everybody, man, the whole package. I mean,
Yep.
they're fighting for us, and we need to be proud. We need to be strong, and we just need to keep throwing down and putting out good product, right? That's what we're trying to do.
Yep.
I look, you guys. I mean, people trip out on me because I take that like the SEALs, right? They have that saying, it pays to be a winner, right? Never out of the fight. I use a lot of that and translate that into our daily meetings in the morning, right? I was telling them, you know what I mean? It pays to be a winner, and you're never out of the fight. And just handle your business. You know what I mean? We're all here together, and we're gonna win this fight. So, you know, that's where we're at, man, and that's all because of that show and just our union and what we stand for.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, fuck, man, that was a great show, Matt. I think we'd, you know, again, thank you to you guys. I know it's a busy weekend. Georgie had to work. We scheduled this for Saturday. Um, I can tell you guys right now the impact that when we do these shows, it does go a long way. There's people out there that are watching that are saying, "Man, I'm just like you. I can make a difference." Um, it does start with us as carpenters. We're out there building. We're building America. We're staying safe. We're highly skilled. That's what separates us. That's something my brother Matt says all the time. The difference between non-union and union is that we're a highly skilled workforce, right? And it starts with going to work, then getting involved, going to your local meetings. Um, what we're doing right here, when you put out that message, people know, man. Like again, back to the influence of me meeting you guys, and I'm like, man, I want to make a difference. Fucking meeting Matt just took me to another level, bro. This motherfucker is an educated cat out there running educational committees, putting people on game, and fucking letting people know why we do what we do. And
Yeah,
first night he sat me down, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I thought I knew something. No, I didn't.
there you
Right?
go,
But
man.
he's sharing it. He's not fucking saying, I'm better than you. He's like, hey, we're the same.
Yeah,
And the message you guys put out, that's something that resonates. So thank you.
yeah. No, for sure. Hey, Matt, you're out in San Diego.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm out there in La Jolla
Okay.
on the Kiwa job right now, so you got to stop by if you get a minute.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, for sure. I'll stop by. I know where your job's at actually, so
Yeah,
I will
pop in,
stop by.
man.
I will.
Come
George,
on, visit. I work with a lot of your brothers over there, and they're good dudes.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of cool cats out there. So,
Yeah. We try.
hell yeah,
George, we're definitely hooking up in Oregon, bro. You need
Yeah.
to, once you get, I mean, you're there early already for staff meetings, right? You should
Yep.
try to get there early, or even if it's after the mixer, like me and you, Matt, need to fucking just hang out for a second, right? And fucking, whether you drink or not, we need to get together and do whatever we do. And it's good, bro, to network. Always good. When we get around and networking leads to bigger and better things. And hell yeah, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. Is there anything you guys want to share going down your local uh, users platform for whatever time you want? What do you guys got? Anything?
we're all pumped up right now about our race coming up. I know that.
Woo, us too.
Come on, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
and it's getting dispersed, to all vacation, the whole ball of wax. So, we can't complain. I mean, and again, it boils down to it's all you guys, the delegates, Pete, Frank Hawk, Mr. McCarran, all the guys out there fighting the battle. You know what I mean?
Holding the fucking
Look at that.
line, George.
Yep. Yep. One thing coming down from 909, we got a big win recently on a mixed use project. A developer, we worked in partnership. We got the whole residential portion for the mixed use development. So that's a big win coming out of San Bernardino County. That's a market that the union's we're not all the way tapped into. So it's a fight, and each little win counts towards that bigger goal, right? So.
Fuck yeah.
Hey, that was well said. Seems like you've been doing it for 10 years or so, dog. That's how you put it down, man.
Oh
George,
yeah.
thank you, bro, for doing that. That means a lot what you got going on, and the sacrifice that you reps put in, you BAs is, a lot of people think you're out there giving out pencils and handing out t-shirts. That we all know that's not your job, right? We're delegates. There's a reason for that. Um, Thank you, bro. You're fucking out there holding the line, right? On the non-union jobs and union jobs. And Sergio, you're fucking holding the line by teaching that those people underneath you at your foreman, general foreman, soon to be superintendent level, what it
Yep.
means to be a union brother. So thank you both.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll be on the plane flying side by side with you guys. You never know. I mean,
I hope so.
we'll see how these knees and back hold up. I still get dirty with these guys. I don't hold back. You know what I mean? I set the tone for them. I don't like to be that guy that just stands there. You know what I mean? I want to show them that, hey, just because I'm a GF doesn't mean that I won't get dirty with you. I'm gonna fight the fight with you guys. We're gonna win this thing, and we're gonna fucking keep going. You know what I mean? So don't
He
think that
does.
I'm just gonna be standing there. You
He
know,
does.
And I don't hold back. You know what I mean? I like it. That's kind of one of the things. Like I wonder, like, could I do what George is doing, right? Or will I miss the outdoors? Will I miss coaching guys up, or put my bags on when I have to put the bags on when I see maybe something starting to trickle down a little bit and they need that little pep in their step and I got to strap up and you know what I mean? And just so let's
Yep.
go. This is how we do it. Let's go. Come on. I got you. You know? So
Being able to step onto a non-union site and get in the face of a contractor that's paying subpar wages or robbing from the worker, I mean that takes some, and George, I know you're going through the process, so thank you for that, man. Getting them, I want to cuss and stuff like that, but getting those dudes face and
I
show
ain't,
that
I
love,
ain't gonna cuss
hey,
and
it's
fuss, bro.
important. It's
It is what it
important
is.
because
that's
Shit.
it, man.
every day they're trying to take something from us.
That's
We got to
right.
protect what's ours.
Yeah.
So
If there's one thing I could say for all the membership is that don't forget that nobody wants us to have what we have. We had to go out there and take everything that we have, whether it's our wages, our benefits, all of it. We had to go out there and take it and fight for it. So don't ever take it for granted. And you got to remember, people are actively working right now, right this second, to take that away from us. So just keep that in mind when we're out there and we're working on those jobs, or when it comes time to volunteer. Just remember that.
Yeah, hats off to all you guys, man, because you guys are out there on the front lines, or you know what I mean. You guys are like the Marines. You guys are out there on the front lines fighting the battle. You guys going first, and you guys are out there willing to throw chingazos for all us guys that are out in the field still working. So hey, man, I appreciate you guys, and I thank you 100%. And maybe one day I'll be out there with you guys throwing chingazos. Hey, I'm always down. You know what I mean? That's just how it is.
right,
We
hey,
got to back
that's
each
how it
other
is.
up, man. We ain't gonna let nobody go down alone. You know what I mean? We're all in this fight together.
Hey, this
That's
is a
that.
brotherhood and a sisterhood. That's right.
So,
Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah.
Matt, anything you want to add before we close it out?
And nothing much. I mean, thank you for coming on. Thank you for representing the brand, and enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there, you guys.
Hey, yeah, and now that you're bringing up that weekend, that's one thing too, right? We got to remember those that fought for us, so we can actually swing a hammer and go out there and fight for our wages, right? Great
Mhm.
USA,
Yep,
all those that have
yep,
fallen before us. I
yep.
mean,
Thank you to the
my
vets.
father was in the military, and maybe you have some members that were in the military, but those who lost their, those guys that went out there, and women too, thinking, hey, I'm gonna go fight this battle. They knew in their minds that they might not be coming back, and man, that's admirable, right? For them to go
Right.
do that for us, and so we can build America and keep building America and do what we do. And man, we got to remember that and salute them and hats off to them. So that's why we're
Yep.
enjoying this weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
well, I
One
wanted to go ahead, George.
one last thing. Sorry, I know. Just to circle back on everything. Don't forget to show up to your local meeting. It's important. And always, all you apprentices or everybody out there, just follow your gut. Whether it's to apply to be on a TV show or follow your gut to make that pour happen, whatever it is. Because chances are, you take that risk, you're gonna end up where you want to be in the end. So
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out to 714, local 909, local 619, local
Wow.
59, the Western
yep.
States, right? Um, we're part of something big, man, and I appreciate you guys being a part of this brotherhood, and to all the sisters out there too. Keep doing what you guys are doing. We're not just not men out there. We're women out there towing the line and holding the line.
Oh,
So
yeah.
shout out to all you guys. Thank you for switching the format to Instagram. Seemed to work out a little bit better, huh, Maddie?
Yeah, hey man, we gotta adjust. Keep on with the punches. Get the information out there.
Yeah.
Put a name to the face. More importantly, because we got 92,000 members out here in the Western States and beyond. So putting names to faces and actually having sitting down and just having carpenters having a conversation. I mean, it's a good thing. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys
Yeah, it's
taking the
great,
time
man.
out of your weekend and thank
Well,
you for
thank you
that.
guys for the invite, man. I appreciate it. This was awesome, and shit, man, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. This was a good time. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate what you guys, and again, thank you for all three of you, what you guys are doing out there for us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It takes certain individuals to go out there and do that. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate you guys and thank you.
Yeah.
I know.
Thanks for
I know.
having
Next
me.
next month we're gonna get somebody else, and In July, we got a good interview with Doug Hicks. That's going to be another Fireball one. So you fuck around and find out, right?
That's it, man.
Awesome.
Come on.
Yep.
All right. Thank you,
Eugene
guys.
strong, baby.
All right.
Thank you
All right,
guys.
you guys.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a good weekend,
Have a good
man.
weekend.
Great hanging out with you. Take care.
Oh, yeah. Take care, you guys.
Take care.